Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Today, I want to talk a little bit about a saying that it's not the most common saying, but you might be familiar with it and you'll quickly get the concept. The saying is, if you don't drink the poison, you don't need to take the antidote. Now, we get into this habit as human beings of often living from our patterns of behavior that can be toxic to ourselves and toxic to others. And if that is one of our particular patterns of behavior, we also have a habit of seeking out toxic situations and inserting ourselves in them. So in both those situations, whether it's coming from internally or coming from externally, we are drinking the poison and then we feel bad about it. Maybe not necessarily guilt or anything like that, but we feel like, our energy is being drawn on. We feel conflict, we feel anxiety, we feel anxious, we feel anger. And it is because we drank a poison that we didn't need to drink. And I'm sure all of us can think of situations like that where we've either, like I said, from internally expressed outward, usually from some sort of trauma, and it usually comes back to trauma in a lot of ways, but also just plain old patterns of behavior, patterns of thought, and clinging to our beliefs at all costs, or worse yet, clinging to the beliefs of the people around us so we feel like we fit in. And a lot of us people who have come from church or family situations, or church and family situations, where we had to behave like the crowd in order to feel love and acceptance, those patterns, even after we've left those situations or have been kicked out of those situations, can still replicate themselves over and over and over and over. And we can find ourselves doing the same thing with groups of people or individuals that are our friends. And I don't just mean friends in quotation marks. They can legitimately be our friends, but our pattern through trauma is that we must respond and think and act and do like they do in order to be loved and accepted, which all comes down to those childhood traumas where we did what we had to do to survive. So no judgment here with this conversation at all, and I want to make that really clear. But there can be really positive changes when we do not drink the poison that doesn't belong to us and has nothing to do with us. Then we don't need to try to find the antidote. Now, another way of looking at this is another really beautiful example of what one of my coaches, we were going through in one of our sessions, and it was about taking offense. And just think of the words for a second. Taking offense. What does that mean? For most of us, it means somebody does something or some situation happens that hurts us deeply and we feel emotionally vulnerable or emotionally attacked, and that gets internalized onto our trauma. Taking is the key word. And I loved how Derek put this. It's like the waiter is walking around with a tray of hors d'oeuvres at a cocktail party or something like that, and offering you different things, and you take it and you consume it. We do the same thing with offense. Yes, the world is complicated, and there are as many unique perspectives and beliefs as there are human beings on the planet. And if you have a habit of either seeking out situations where you're feathers can be ruffled and things can be happen, or someone does something or says something in your presence, you can choose to take it and consume it and take the offense, or you can say, oh, that's that person's. No, thank you. I'll pass on that. And sometimes not taking the poison is just that easy. And yes, I'm combining kind of two stories and two metaphors because they just fit so beautifully together. And it's something that all of us do and all of us can relate to. Taking offense is a choice. That doesn't mean we do not have certain things that we support or we stand up for what is right, but the energy in which we do it, whether we're internalizing that to reinforce our own hurt and our own fear and our own sadness, or on the ego side, our own sense of importance and our own sense of power, false power usually, where we can only attack to feel powerful. Most of the time, just a simple stance of standing strong and standing strong with community, with love, with compassion, and with curiosity as to what is actually happening, then we have a much greater sense of power and purpose, and the results that we really want to generate in our lives and in the world are coming from a much stronger place and a place of compassion. Now, compassion can and does need to be extended to other people, even when we're not receiving it ourselves. And I know there's going to be some people who have a problem with that. And compassion does not mean compliance. It does not mean giving in. It means understanding and feeling what that person is feeling. And usually that comes from asking questions as opposed to making statements. It comes from having dialogue instead of having conflict. And it comes from really wanting to understand why you believe what you do, why I believe what I do. And when that happens, you can lovingly and kindly stand up for your rights, stand up for your power without taking or consuming the offense, and leave the other person also in a feeling where they are not being attacked, because we all know how that battle goes. It's back and forth and back and forth. Love matters, love counts, curiosity matters, curiosity counts, compassion matters, compassion counts. So I encourage you today to not take offense and to not take the poison that is on offer everywhere in our world, because there are also people walking around with the tray of things that will feed your mind and feed your heart and feed your soul. And if you don't take the poison, you don't need to take the antidote. And a lot of that has to do with how we choose to process the information and how healed our own initial traumas are. Now, again, triggers we talked about. Triggers do not cause you problems. Triggers is just a simple little thing, that a switch that causes the explosive, the trauma that you're carrying, to combust. It's the combustion that you carry that's the problem. So don't continue to feed into that. Heal that part of you. And if you really want to make changes in the world, if you really want to do something meaningful for yourself and for others, and if you really want to build a real community around yourself, do it from love, do it from compassion, do it from understanding, do it from curiosity of what the other person means instead of deciding what they mean, and choosing your response. Do not react, respond. So don't take the poison, don't take the offense, and you won't need the antidote. Much love to you all today. I hope you find this some helpful information. I am always available to connect one-on-one. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. It will help me get my message out to other people, and it will help me find the people that are needing the support that that I'm in a position to offer at this point. And that's really, when I say please help me, that's really what I'm asking. Help me, help others, help themselves. Love you all. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.